Okay, so let's proceed with data normalization. So it is it is a primary tool to validate and improve a logical design so that it satisfies a certain constraints that avoid unnecessary duplications of data. And the process of decomposing relation with anomalies to produce a well-structured relations. When we say a well-structured relation, it is a relation that contains a minimal data redundancy and allows users to insert, delete, and update rows without causing data inconsistency. And the goal is to avoid anomalies like insertion anomaly. Adding new rows forces user to create duplicate data. Deletion anomaly, deleting rows that may cause a loss of data that would be needed for other future rows. And modification anomaly, changing data in a row forces changes to another rows because of duplication. So the general rule of thumb, a table should not pertain to more than one entity type. So this is an example. Uh, is this a relation? Yes, because it has a unique rows with no multi-valued attributes. So what's the primary key? We have, the answer is employee ID and the course title. So anomalies in this table. So we have here insertion. You can't enter a new employee without having the employee take a class or at least empty fields for it of class information. Deletion. If we remove employee number 140, okay, we lose information about the existence of tax account class. Modification. Giving a salary increase to employee 100 forces to update multiple records. So why do these anomalies exist? It's because there are two themes. We have the entity types, and this is one relation. This result in data duplication and unnecessary dependency between entities. So the steps in normalization. First one is on the first normal form, you remove multi-valued attributes. Okay, you ensure that each cell in the table contains a single value and there are no attributes that can have multiple values for a single row. And in the second normal form, remove partial dependencies. Ensure that all non-key attributes are fully dependent on the entire primary key. And in the third normal form, you remove transitive dependency. Ensure that there are no more transitive dependency where our non-key attributes it is dependent on other non-key attribute. Okay? In the Boy's code normal form, remove remaining anomalies. So in these steps, it involves identifying and removing any remaining anomalies that result from multiple candidate keys. And let's proceed with the fourth normal form. In the fourth normal form, you remove multi-value dependencies. So you ensure also that there are no multi-value dependencies where non-key attribute is dependent on the multiple other non-key attributes. And in the fifth normal form, remove remaining anomalies. So this step involves identifying and removing any remaining anomalies that result from joint dependency. Usually, in the third normal form is generally considered sufficient. Okay na siya, biska tama na sa third normal form. So, functional dependencies and keys. So, functional dependency. So, this value of one attribute, the determinant determines the value of another attribute. Okay? So, a functional dependency exists between two attributes if the value of one attribute is determinant, uniquely determines the value of the attribute. So, example of this is in the table customer information, the customer ID might functionally determine the customer name, meaning that if you know the customer ID, you can uniquely determine the customer name. While in the candidate key, A candidate key is a unique identifier for a row in a relation. It is a set attribute that uniquely identifies each row and satisfies the following conditions, like the uniqueness or the unique identifier. So no two rows can have, I mean uniqueness, no two rows can have the same values for all attributes in the candidate key. And the minimality is no proper subset of the candidate key can uniquely identify rows. Okay, so in the primary key, one of the candidate key is chosen as the primary key, which is the primary identifier in a row. Example, in a table containing customer information, both customer ID and the social security number might be a candidate keys. So one of these would be chosen as the primary key. Okay. So in the first normal form, no multi-valued attributes. So every attribute value is atomic. Okay. So we have here in invoice data Pine Valley Furniture Company. Take note that this is not a relation. This is a invoice data. So this is the first normal form. So table with no multi-valued attributes and unique rows in the first normal form. So walay multi-valued attributes. Okay. Next is we have anomalies in this table. We have the insertion. So in insertion anomaly, if a new product is ordered for an existing customer, the customer's data must be re-entered causing duplication. So this is because the invoice of the table combines information about both orders and customer, leading to redundancy. And in deletion anomaly, if you delete a dining table from order, you lose information concerning these items finish and price. Okay, so this is because the invoice table also stores informations about products, and deleting order might result in losing information about the products associated with that order. And we also have the update or the modification anomaly. So changing the price of the product requires updating multiple records. This is because the product information is duplicated in multiple rows, making it difficult to update price consistently. So why do these anomalies exist? So these anomalies occur because the invoice table combines information about multiple themes or multiple entity types. Okay, so this result also in data duplication and unnecessary dependency between entities. So to resolve these issues, the table should be decomposed into separate relations, each representing in a single entity type. So this would eliminate anomalies and improve the overall structure of the database. So second normal form, the first normal form plus every non-key attribute is fully functionally dependent on the entire primary key. Every non-key attribute must be defined by the entire key, not by only part of the key. So no partial functional dependencies. Like we have here, this is an example of functional dependency diagram for invoice. Okay, you can pause. So removing partial dependencies, we have in the third normal form. Okay, so partial dependencies are removed but are still transitive dependency. Okay, you can pause. So in the third normal form, second normal form plus no transitive dependencies, functional dependencies on non-primary key attributes. So take note that this is called transitive because the primary key is a determinant from another attribute, which in turn is a determinant for a third. The solution for this is a non-key determinant with transitive dependencies go into a new table. So non-key determinant becomes primary key in the new table and stays as foreign key in the old table. We have here an example or removing partial dependency in the third normal form. Pwede rin yung i-pause. So in merging relationships, merging relations. So view integrations combining entities from multiple entity relation models into common relations. And the issues to watch out for when merging entities from different ER models, we have the synonyms, two or more attributes with different names but the same meaning. Homonyms, attributes with the same name but different meanings. Transitive dependencies, even if a relation are in the third normal form before merging, they may not be after merging. Okay? So supertype and subtype relationships, these relationships may be hidden or not apparent prior to merging. So in addressing these issues, to ensure that merge relations are well structured and avoid anomalies, it is important to carefully analyze the entities and attributes from the different ER models and address of any of these issues. So this may involve renaming attributes, resolving conflicts between the homonyms, and ensuring that the resulting relations are in the normal form. We have here the enterprise keys, primary keys that are uniquely in the whole database, not just in a single relation. And it corresponds with the concept of an object ID, object-oriented systems. Okay, so I hope that na amoy natunan in this lesson. Thank you everyone for listening.